Doing Time with Deputy Mike.
Hi, welcome back to Doing Time with Deputy Mike. I'm your host, Mike, and I believe this is year 4, episode 3. And today we're going to showcase our new classes that we have going on here at TCTC. We have the teachers and we have a student. So without further ado, let's move on into roll call. Grab your feet and take a seat. It's roll call time. Well, I don't think that's supposed to be going on back there, but that's cool. Welcome to Doing Time. It's all right. Go ahead, if you would, and introduce yourselves.
Yeah, hello, everybody. Rob Sellers. I'm the new teacher here at TCTC for the Aviation and Drone Technology program. We try to focus on manned and unmanned flying, and trying to teach some of these students about an emerging career. A lot of career opportunities for a new emerging program. So.
Cool. I'm John Pettit. I'm the industrial technology instructor here at TCTC. Our program's about many different things in industry, but how industry has grown in a whole from into different technologies. So PLC programming, hydraulics, pneumatics, CNC machining, robotics, from integration all the way down to maintenance on robots to point programming the robots, some CNC machine programming, 2, 3, and 5 axis type stuff. We're slowly getting more and more machines in as the program's being built, so we're waiting on a couple of the machines for machining still, but we'll be looking forward to getting them here in the next couple weeks.
And then I'm Brittany Hickey. I'm the digital marketing and management instructor. We do obviously social media marketing, but then also other avenues of digital marketing such as online advertising, just marketing communications, anything with getting brands and companies out there into the world and digital spaces.
And then I'm Kason Fry. I am a student in digital marketing, and I do everything that Miss Hickey just said we do. So I don't know how else to put it.
Nice. Well, welcome everybody to the show, and we'll move on into interrogation time. I think we lost our music.
There it is.
There it is.
Interrogation time.
We're still getting the bugs out. It's all right. This makes it fun. So, we'll go ahead and start with your class. It was cool because I got to come in and fly a drone, which was really neat.
Yeah.
And I've told you that I'm very interested, and I was hoping that we get an adult class going out here. But you've taught me quite a bit that I didn't know. So if you want to go ahead and different classifications of drones.
Yeah. So right now, anybody can go to the store and buy a drone. Most of them are being sold. They are all under 0.55 pounds, so just under a half pound. That keeps it in an unrestricted category. You still have to maintain safe airspace, so you want to make sure that you're not flying too close to an airport, and you have to fly below 400 feet. Visual line of sight at all times. So you can use that drone to fly around just for fun. You can take pictures around your house. You can teach students how to fly them and take pictures of the school that you work at. But the moment that you use that drone for any kind of gain, whether it be money or a steak dinner, you have to have a commercial license. So a drone that's over 0.55 pounds and up to but not including 55 pounds is in the 107 category. And anytime you're using any drone for revenue of any sort, you have to have a 107 license. So that Part 107, it's a federal regulation part, and it's a license just like a pilot's license. So what we're trying to hopefully get all of our students here in our junior class to get that information so they can take that test and get their license at the end of this year. So
Oh, that's pretty cool. So, some of the things I know, like, let's say, my end of the being law enforcement. See, now, are you allowed to actually, I don't know, with the way things are, I guess, for someone to come here and start filming the school, or like say a government building? I know they're not around problems with the prisons where they're using drones to drop in drugs and other things.
Yeah.
So, but what are the restrictions? Are there restrictions around schools?
there are restricted airspaces, but as far as I know, I don't know of any restricted areas around schools. I'm sure the prison areas would have their own restricted zones.
Right.
You know, the thing about a drone is I could fly a drone if I was your neighbor or lived down the road. I could fly a drone over your house
Right.
and take pictures of your yard and all that stuff. And it's my business to do that if I want to, because the airspace isn't owned by anybody.
Right.
So, you know, anytime you're operating a drone, you want to make sure that you honor people's privacy. You know, you don't want to be the guy down the road that everybody's annoyed with. You know, it is illegal.
Looking out my window and staring at your
Right.
drone, looking back
Yeah.
at me.
It is illegal to damage someone else's drone. If they're flying over your house, you can't throw something at it or try to shoot
Which
it down.
I've
You're
seen
not allowed to
going
do that.
on. Like I've seen like footage where people are actually like trying to shoot down drones
Yeah.
that are flying over their property.
Right, and that's
Stuff
personal
like-
property. So, you know, these drones, they can range, you know, anywhere between 500 and you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I don't know what category that fits as far as property damage, but if you damage up to a certain amount, I think it's rated.
Yeah, it goes. I would have to look it up, but it's
They're categorized in some way.
I'm trying to remember. It used to be almost like a thing, like anything under 500, but I think they moved it to 1,000 or something
Okay.
like that. So, like anything under, say, 1,000 would be a misdemeanor. Anything
Right.
above that, of course, would
Sure.
be felony. But
Yeah, and since they're flying and they're using airspace, regulated airspace, and they follow the rules of the the Federal Aviation Administration, they do fall under that as well. So it would not be much different than damaging an actual aircraft. So
right.
so don't try to shoot them down.
Don't
or
shoot 'em down.
If someone accidentally lands in your yard, you know, it's their property.
Yeah.
Just give it back, but also keep in mind that, you know, you want to give people their privacy. So
And you know, this is going to be interesting because drones are becoming more and more popular. I mean, right now, I don't think we really have a big drone problem where there's drones flying everywhere.
not yet.
Not yet. But it's coming,
Yeah.
like everything else.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting to see how, like, local laws start playing out.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have to start. For
Yeah.
protection on both sides,
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
imagining. But the other thing in your room, you also have flight simulators.
Yes. Yeah. This gives the students a little opportunity to see what it's like to operate an aircraft using some of the different systems. They have movable landing gear, movable flaps, and it's all simulated onto a wraparound screen. You can set up different weather patterns. You can set a flight for nighttime, so you're using instruments, and you know, it's very forgiving. The movements on the simulators are not what you would feel in an actual airplane, but you kind of get the idea. You know, you try to small movements to make your changes and stuff like that, instead of something abrupt that'll send you off course or something like that. So
now, are you able to program that to an actual, like, if you're legitimately flying?
Yeah, through the internet, you can download different airports, and I believe that they actually will give us a better. Some of them use Google Earth image
That's
to
really
produce
neat.
what you see on the ground below you. So it's pretty neat. You can actually see your house as you're flying. So
That is, I mean, it's a very interesting class. Very
Yeah.
cool. I like it. We got a lot of cool classes, and that was all of you guys. I mean, so let's move on to your industrial.
Okay, yeah. Industrial technology, so we're in, I don't know if you know, in the fourth, Industry 4.0 is the fourth industrial revolution. That's the word I was looking for. So with that comes, everything's being hooked up through the internet. You can monitor machines over your cell phone, make sure everything's running properly. Even though I think some of the new 3D printers can send you alerts if something messes up in the printer, and it'll hold itself until you go and check it and restart it. So most industries going that way. And I think COVID was a big factor in it, because when companies couldn't get employees to come in, if they were ever on the bubble about automation, robots coming in their machines because of the expense of it, at that point, they had no other choice. They couldn't get employees. So they went the route of the robotics. And once a company sees the benefit of using automation, I've never seen a company go back to manual operators again, because think about the robot will work all day. If you're getting 400 parts an hour out of that machine, you're going to get 400 parts an hour out of that machine all day for 8 hours. Doesn't need breaks, doesn't need workers' compensation. So your investment pays itself off pretty quickly. But the thing you end up needing are maintenance people that can work on these robots. And that's just one instance. Same thing with CNC machines, is they've started to grow. You see a lot more of them. They're getting to the point where they're affordable and people can put them in their garages. So you see a lot of homemade shops and stuff. And a lot of them companies end up with like DoD contracts and stuff like that, where you can get online and bid on jobs for American-made parts for the government. And so we've got a bunch of them little shops around this area, in Ohio especially. And then now with robotics too, it was always industrial robots. Now what's starting to hit the market is cobots, so collaborative robots. So you can basically grab the robot and move it around by your hand and put it where you want it. So you don't even really have to use the pendant at all. You literally grab a hold of the robot, put it where you want it, hit a button, it stores a point. You drag it to the next point, hit a button, it stores a point. We had a secretary that worked with us at one of the integration companies, and we showed her in about 5 minutes how to program the robot, and she was out there writing programs with it and running it. So they're super easy to do.
Like,
so.
what would this robot, like something like that, what would you use that for?
The company at Weld Action, it was mainly for welding robots is what we did with it. When I left there, we were supposed to do an install for a material handling robot. And that was to grab like a compressor for like the air conditioners in the schools, the big compressors, 500-pound compressors. So we built a welding cell to weld up. It was a 2-robot cell. They would weld the upper and lower part of this compressor together. Their demand started to get so high, and there started to lack personnel. So now they're putting in a material handling robot so it can catch up production, because our new welding robot was more efficient than our old cell, which we had built too, but it was like I think 15 years ago. And so the new ones, with technology coming up in robots and being faster and quicker and more efficient, they were able to actually outrun production with this cell. So now the next step was to automate the assembly line a little bit more and get a material handling robot in there. So,
Robots are cool, but they're scary. Because,
a little bit.
I mean, with nowadays, people don't want to work.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, let's bring this robot, and eventually, it's like, where are we going to end up?
Right.
We don't need people, so
Yep.
what are we going to be doing? And everything's going to be worked with robots.
Yep. And that's what I was telling people that were, quitting their jobs and stuff, that had good jobs in production or something like that. I told them, I said, you guys are going to quit, and by the time you come back, this job's not going to be here anymore. They're going to put a robot in there, and then once they see that, because the company I worked for was like that, they didn't want to invest money in a robot, they didn't see a benefit in it, but they put a robot in because they couldn't get personnel.
Well,
and
you
now they
start
got more
adding it up.
robots.
It's like, well, gee, I don't have to pay workers' comp, I don't have to pay
Yep.
insurance, I don't have to pay retirement, I don't have to pay nothing.
Right.
I'm paying for electricity and a programmer to program this robot.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy, and it does take away jobs, but it will add jobs. Not as many as it's going to take. And the jobs it adds are going to be higher paying jobs, better jobs. I think in Kentucky, Mazak has a shop. It's a smart factory. It's 100% unmanned inside the shop. So you got people outside that load tooling in. When the tooling breaks, the machine sends it up to the ceiling, sends it out of the shop. They change it out, send it back in. But yeah, robots, it's completely unmanned inside of there. I forget how many square feet it is, but it's a big shop.
Wow. And you know, AI is actually scary. AI is
yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
It's like, all I keep thinking is Terminator. It's coming.
Yeah.
I mean, because they mess with this thing and they mess with this thing, and no one's keeping it in check.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't take much.
No. And
They've already asked a couple machines, what would they do? Eliminate us?
right.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah, and they made a ton of movies about it, you know, and
That's like-
you're starting to see it come true.
Yeah, it's like, all right, you warned us. Now you're not listening to your own warnings. Why are we playing around
Yeah,
with
we
this?
just got to make sure we put a shut-off switch on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Power them down.
What is it? One of the main guys involved with these AIs actually, I was reading, you see him, he's carrying a backpack, and it literally is a kill switch. But what happens if you take this guy out or his backpack breaks?
Right.
It's like, who's got the next switch?
Yeah. Well, because there's them one people, I forget the name of the company, but they built that, an AI robot and a dog. And they have the robot grabbing guns and shooting stuff, and person steps in the way, it doesn't shoot until the person moves out of the way. So the technology is impressive, but it is, you're right, it is
Well,
scary.
I've looked at some of the compact robots that they're making, and those things are scary.
Yeah.
And they're pushing them and hitting them and doing all this crazy stuff, and they may lose their balance or stuff, but they're locked on their target.
Right.
And recently, there was 4 of these things or 5 of these things that went rogue and literally started shooting everybody. And the one they were like kind of destroyed. This actually happened. They were getting the robots and trying to like deactivate them, whatever, to destroy them. And this other one like locked in and was learning how to rebuild it. So you had like all of a sudden one became a medic and was fixing the ones they
Oh boy.
took out of commission.
Right. And that's the idea behind AIs. They're supposed to learn as they go.
They were
So,
learning.
Right. And then they don't forget it.
No, they don't forget it. That's a scary thing. So with your equipment here, because I don't know nothing about your equipment, if you can explain like exactly a little more like what you guys will. You got the like robotic little arms, like
Oh,
do it
yeah.
for.
So the objective for the kids graduating here is these soccer credentials, so Smart Automation Certification Alliance, and through the MVT, Mahoning Valley Workers Coalition, I think something along them lines. They're starting to look at these soccer credentials, so and they're very specific on what you know and what you can do. So if all you want to do is point program a robot, there's a certification for that. If you want to maintenance the robot, there's a certain certification for that. So once you have these certifications, the idea being you can go to the job site or the company and say, hey, this is your job posting, I have this cert, and it proves that you've actually been through the coursework and shown that you know how to operate this stuff effectively.
That's nice.
And so like some of the systems we got down there is we do have a smart factory. They're actually down there now currently getting it working still. But it'll assemble a part all the way through. And it's a little plunger valve with a spring and stuff, and the robot picks up pieces, puts it in place. It scans some stuff to make sure parts are correct. So they'll be getting into that here later in the year. Right now we're just sort of touching on all the basic stuff, so like PLC programming, pneumatics, hydraulics, electronics, AC/DC electric, and then robots.
And this is our true future right here.
Yeah, I believe so. I've been in automation, and I sort of jumped around. I went here for precision machining back in 2002, and then with the exception of my time in the Army, that's all I've done since I graduated high school. And the Army had nothing to do with anything in manufacturing. It was I was in the infantry, so it doesn't correlate to any of that really. But I never wanted for a job, and anytime I wanted to learn something new, I would find a job that was going to teach me that, and that's how I learned it. And I went from manual machining to CNC machining to design work. Then I wanted to learn tool and die, and then I really wanted to get into automation right after COVID because I seen how big it was going to get, and it was something I really wanted to learn. And I knew I would never have. And never have a hard time finding a job. And in the 20 plus years I've been out of high school, I've never not gotten a job that I wanted. So it's been super beneficial to me, and that was just a machining program that we had here, not as extensive as it is now with all the equipment we got that makes it way easier. Even a lot easier for me to teach this stuff too, because it's sort of already broken down, and I can just help the kids sort of troubleshoot as we go through the program, which has been super fun for me too. So, but yeah, they'll get, once they get their basic and get to see a little bit of everything, then it's about what they want to do. You know, if you want to go mechanical route or electrical or pneumatics, and then get you them certifications that you need, or, you know, to get you into the job field that you want to do. So
That's what I love about our school. I mean, we have so many programs where legitimately these kids can, I don't like calling them kids, young adults, students can walk out and literally walk right into a nice paying job.
oh yeah.
And in fact, well, I'm going to use Mr. Duran's class here. One of them, our graduates who actually worked on our podcast, is now at one of the local stations. And Chris had heard that they were looking for, I don't know, programmer or whatever. And he got her an interview, and she walked right into their little studio. And they started trying to quiz her on stuff, and she went right off like, well, this is this. And they were like totally amazed, like, how do you know that? She goes, well, I did this at school. I worked on a podcast. This is everything we have.
Right.
Exact same equipment. I mean, that's the nice thing. I mean, we got up-to-date equipment.
Yeah.
And they're like, hired. And, you know, he had like people with way more time or whatever, and they took her.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and that's what I know. They like to tell the story about, so a kid at Brookfield, just sort of a basic level program of what I'm teaching. So they have some of the stuff, but not all the stuff that I have down in lab. But the kid, he worked his butt off. He got 7 credentials by the time he graduated high school, and he walked into a $120,000 a year job out of high school.
that's the kid.
Yeah.
Why didn't you go? I was like, why did they have this when I graduated?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be sitting here right now,
Right.
but I would be happy.
Yeah. Plus the credentials. So through the University of Akron, we're working with Kent Trumbull now to try and get them to accept our certificates. Because
Nice.
the University of Akron, it's 3 credit hours for 1 certificate. So that's kind of nice. So you could graduate high school if you work hard and
Right.
do, like, I think it's 15 hours through the university, 15 additional hours, and then you could graduate high school with an associate's degree.
That's
So,
amazing.
Yeah, and it's free right now in high school. It'd be
Yeah.
free for you to go to, you know, do classes there. It would be cool if Kent would do it, so they could just, you know, it's a little closer to here.
Right.
So that'd be nice if we can get that set up with them.
That would be nice. Well, let's move on to a more safer.
So with digital marketing, it's obviously new this year, but it's so new just in general, kind of the focus on digital marketing. Marketing has been something that's been around for years, but the digital aspect. So it's kind of nice because everyone's learning, the industry is always changing. We were just at a conference 2 weeks ago, I think, and just talking about the impact of AI and technology and how everything's been changing and how we can use that in digital marketing, not to necessarily take away our jobs, but to increase the amount of time that we have to put towards elements of our job that really matters, like the things that really need that human interaction with, but how we can speed up kind of the mundane tasks that we don't need to spend as much time on. And so then taking that information and applying it into class of just teaching the ethics and the responsibility of this new technology. It kind of goes back, we were talking about how this is kind of the new social media. So social media was so scary to everyone when it first came out. What is this? And now we're comfortable with it. I mean, there's obviously still things to learn about it and the power of it, but now AI is this new beast that we're dealing with. And how can we use it well and professionally, but also not let it take over the world like we're talking about. So that's been something that we've been using in class, but then just in class as a whole, speaking on certifications, our students, they get the Stu-Kent social media certification, which shows the industry, it's an industry recognized credential, so it shows that these students know how to manage budgets, they know how to manage channels. So are you using Facebook versus Pinterest versus Instagram, TikTok, all of the new ones. So showing that they know how to utilize it. And they actually do simulated experiences through Stu Kent to get that certification. So they'll get that junior year. Yeah, you haven't done it yet. And then they also get Google Analytics, Google AdWords. And then senior year, they focus more on the business aspect of it. So junior year, they're really learning how to market themselves, market their companies, their client, whoever they might be working with. And then senior year, we continue that, but more so looking at how could they actually set up their own business doing that. So they write a business plan and focus more on the entrepreneurship side of it. And so that's the certification that they get senior year, is the ESB certification.
So now this, what's the Google thing you were just talking about? What exactly is that?
So Google AdWords and Google Analytics, it's two certifications through Google, and what it does is it allows people in the industry to show that these students know how to, one, read the data from any advertisements that are really shared through the Google platform, and then Google AdWords is just showing that they are certified to be able to create these advertisements that are getting shared out there. So two very popular ones. I know right now Google Analytics has been going through some changes, just trying to keep up with all of the new technology. But that's one thing that you can really use AI for, is to really, you can have it analyze the advertisements and the SEO that you're writing, and making sure that that is up to par of what it should be, and using it to give you that feedback on the advertisements that you're creating.
So that lets you know if your advertisement that you're making is making it to the top of the list, right? You want to see how many people are viewing it, and if you Google search shoes, that your shoe store is the one that comes up first, right?
Exactly, yeah. So that's where it all ties into, and we talk about SEO, which is search engine optimization, which again, we'll use the shoe example. That says if you have the right SEO keywords and you do your SEO correctly, if Kaysen has a shoe company versus if I have a shoe company, you're trying to get yours to pop up first. You can sponsor it, so like if you go on Google and search shoe companies near me, they obviously have like the sponsored companies, and I'll say it, but just organically having good keywords allows you to get your company up there. And then the analytics allows you to tag it. You can actually tag it on the back end of, say, your web page, and then you can go in and see what that reach of your advertisement, like where is it going, it's so you can look at everything up to like what time of day people are looking at your stuff, like when is the best time to post. So it really it's for people who love data, it's perfect because you can just spend hours looking through
So
it.
this kind of plays like into this thing, like, well, how our phones are always listening and stuff. And of course I've been looking for these tennis shoes, and all of a sudden you get on Facebook and boop, there's, or whatever it is, and there's your tennis shoes.
Yep, that's all targeted ads. We talk about that a little bit so far this year, but just with like market research and looking at people, and there are lots of companies that will take your data and then sell it to companies who are looking to try to find their target audience and looking at their markets. And so it's kind of like some people like it, some people don't, the whole like buying and selling data. And that's why a lot of times now you'll see like, we are not selling your data, or some will say, do you agree to have your data collected? I know now, since like I've updated my phone, and like asks about tracking, ask this app not to track.
Yeah, I'm always, don't track me,
Right.
don't track
And
me.
so that's all, it really is just people, that's their whole job, is to look at where you're shopping at and what you're talking about, what do you like, and then they create ads that are targeted just for you. You can put in the demographics of, I want to target 18 to 25-year-old females who are living in Ohio who have interests in sports and the outdoors. Like, you can target it, and then that will find, like, you can do it on Facebook, and then it will find any people in that area who are within that age and who have liked and marked that they're interested in it, and that's where those targeted ads get pushed out.
That's
It's crazy.
interesting. It is. That's interesting. I mean, well, that's kind of nice because, I never really knew exactly how that worked, and it's kind of cool sitting here and you can break down on how it does work.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to say your students are very go-getters,
Mm-hmm.
which is really nice. They're really into what they're doing, and you've done a wonderful job, like I said earlier, seeing like mine up down there on the TV, and I actually have more people coming up and asking about doing time or game night.
Mhm.
I've got so many more students interested in game night this year than, because usually we slowly build up our people come to the game night, and already it seems like we're like equal to where we was when we left last year, or maybe even a little bit more. So I'll let you know here
Perfect.
in
And
a
that's-
week or so. But
It's the cool thing. That's actually one of the things that we want to do, just being involved with the podcast from the marketing end of it, working with Mr. Duran to get the analytics from the YouTube videos, and also hopefully from like when TCTC shares it out on Facebook, and getting the analytics and seeing what we're currently doing in terms of putting it out just organically on Facebook, and then on the TVs, and then if we change our like marketing and advertising approach, will that increase the views, which is ideally what you want.
right. Well, you've been nice and quiet. So,
I try to be.
so what's your take on your class?
I really enjoy it. I mean, I've met a lot of new friends in it too that make it really enjoyable, because everybody is here to do what they're here to do. We're here to learn about digital marketing, and we all just work together. Like for the game night stuff, we couldn't decide, so we all sat there and worked together to try to make the best like image that would pop out, and
I
it seems like
it.
it's working. It seems like
I
it's
like
working.
I like it a lot, and I've expressed my gratitude. You've done a wonderful job. So well, like every class, you've got so many students, and like yours and yours, where some want to do this and some want to do that. So what's your actual interest, like in your class? What would you like to be doing?
Okay, so my interest is eventually going on to market for a racing team, because I'm into racing. I race go-karts, and my main goal is to manage like a NASCAR team's social media, or like maybe even a Formula One team's social media. It's just learning about it now. I know I'll have like a better chance of just say getting, how do I want to word it? I'll have a better chance of being like, hey, I'm young and I'm still learning, but I already know all this. And what's to say, just say somebody who's like, I'm not trying to be rude, but like somebody who's like 30 years old, 30, 40 years old.
That's old.
Somebody who's like 40 or above, like.
Wait till you hit 30, you're gonna be like, that's
Just-
not old.
I can just learn a lot more, I feel. I just know, and plus I know who I'm targeting to, because I'm younger, and I know that I can build up an audience compared to like I don't know how to word it, but like, okay, do you get what I'm trying to say? I can
Yes.
get the audience that I can reach a new audience that NASCAR teams and stuff would never think to reach.
Right.
Because if you think about a NASCAR fan, what do you think about?
They're not young.
Exactly.
Not typically.
You think about an old dude.
Old guys.
Old
yeah.
guy sitting there.
50s.
Yeah, camping. Yep. But like now, if you
So what's your idea like of an old dude?
of an old dude. Okay, my idea of an old dude is like an old dude with a beer belly sitting there.
Somebody who watches NASCAR.
Yeah,
Watches
exactly.
NASCAR.
But yeah, I just think going into this class and learning marketing would really help, obviously. But I'd be able to reach a younger audience and push out more content. Like, and I'd be able to relate more to people.
Yeah.
And I'd be able to just in general say, hey, NASCAR is cool, you should come watch it.
And you don't have to have a beer belly.
Yeah,
if
you don't
don't.
have to have a beer belly.
Okay, well, let's move on to that's embarrassing. Forgot to keep moving those on.
That's embarrassing.
Go over my embarrassing story again. Let's see if I can remember this word for word. Yeah, so I was young. I was like 11, and I ride motorcycles. Been riding motorcycles my whole life since I was 3, and we were over in the Allegheny, which we ride over there quite a bit. Me and my son were just there. Actually, Sunday I bought him a brand new bike, so we went there so we could break it in before they closed for the season. But anyhow, so I was on my KX100. I was flying down this trail wide open, and I hit a little jump and landed in the corner. Well, because of where I landed in the corner, I couldn't make the turn, so I went off into the trees. The bike went up into the trees. The tree went between my fender and the tire, driving it all the way up on the tree. There's grease all over the tree. And I was way in front of my dad, so I was like, I'm just gonna try and get this bike off before he sees me, you know, and then I will never live this down. So that didn't happen. He come around, stop, you know, he's a smoker, so he lit up, and just watching me laughing as I'm trying to get my bike off the tree, you know, and then I started up and I take off again. And he still talks about that to this day, you know. He still gives me a hard time about that, so.
That's funny. That is funny. And you weren't hurt, so that was awesome.
Right, yeah, yeah.
So I've been trying to think of one because, like I said, I blocked them out. But one that I had, going off of yours, when I was in 3rd grade, we were outside for gym class in the parking lot at our school, and we were playing kickball. And this girl went to go, I was running from first base to second base, and this girl went to go like throw the ball to tag me out, but instead of like hitting me, she hit my feet and I tripped over it, and there were the big concrete like pillars around the light poles in the parking lot, and my forehead went right into it. So in front of everyone I fell. And then the worst part was it was right around, I don't know if it was like recess time or dismissal. I just remember there being all sorts of kids out there and just like staring at me, and then I had to be walked in because my head is just bleeding all over, and I had to be walked in. And then it got worse because I went into the office and they like patched me up, and they essentially made me a mummy, just like wrapping probably gauze or toilet paper around my forehead. And then my mom had to come pick me up, and they're like carrying me out, like holding this on my head, and I had to get taken to the hospital. And so now I have a scar, but it was just like, right there in the middle, concrete pool. And the best part was that was the week before picture day. So not only was it embarrassing enough for people to remember it like in the moment, but then my 3rd grade yearbook picture is just me with a giant stitches and like welt.
You didn't have the mummy wrap anymore?
Not the mummy wrap anymore. That would have made it
better.
even better. But yeah, so my mom did not buy those that year to put on the wall, but the yearbook still has it.
So rule 1 is we always play kickball in the dirt, away from cement
You should
pillars.
have told my gym teacher that, because we played it on the parking lot. So yeah, not fun.
That's not, yeah. I was cringing over here the whole time. That's terrible.
All
You
right.
got one?
Yeah, so I've been racing since I was 6 years old, and I've always been taught, hey, some NASCAR drivers pee themselves.
We're going back to
Right?
NASCAR.
Some NASCAR drivers pee themselves. So whenever I was like 10 years old, I was in this big race, and there was just yellow flags, and laps don't count under yellow flags. And this is like a 20, 30 lap race, and I'm 10 years old, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, I gotta pee. And this race just keeps going on and on. We can't get it over with. And there's like 10 laps left, and then they stop us, and they pull us like into the infield, and they're like, yeah, you're gonna sit here and watch this next race since you guys can't race. Like, you guys don't know how to. And I'm just sitting there, like, in the cart. I'm not getting up because I already peed myself. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, I don't want to get up. And they're like, you got to get up and talk to your, like, parents. And I'm like, mm-mm. So I ended up getting out after, like, everything was said and done. And you just saw a whole wet spot over my jeans and in my seat. And I just instantly ran back to my trailer, changed real quick, got in the shorts, and my dad was like, dude, and I was like, did anybody see? He was like, I don't think so. And I was like, I hope not. But yeah, that's my embarrassing story.
So did you ever find out that it's really true if the NASCAR drivers pee
Oh,
themselves?
yeah, it's true. It's like there's certain races where they'll race for like 600 miles. It'll be like 4.5, 5 hours, and they'll just.
But aren't their suits like?
Their suits, they have
made
like
for
actual
that?
suits, yeah.
Yeah.
I think some of them wear catheters too.
Yeah. Ooh. I'd pass on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes me hurt.
I wouldn't want to drive 500 miles.
No.
One of those.
No.
Mm-mm.
No. All right. Jeez. Let's move on to shout out time. So
It's shout out time.
this is where you get to say hello to whoever you're at. And you're not limited to like one person, so.
Let's see. I guess I'd like to give a shout out to my family for supporting me in changing careers coming here. So.
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to my my wife and my kids. Their support helped get me here too. And plus, my father-in-law passed away on Friday or Monday. So my wife's kind of dealing with quite a bit right now. But she's a very strong-willed woman, and so
Oh,
she
my
does a lot for me.
condolences.
Thank you.
I'll give a shout out to my family as well, and the dogs. Can't forget the dogs. Always got to get them. But yeah, I'll give a shout out to them.
I'll give a shout out to my family and most importantly Marshall Morris. He is the one who convinced me to do this. He just came around and was like, "Hey, does anybody want to do this?" And I was like, "Sure, might as well."
Oh, you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to listen to people talk about
You know,
funny stories.
I'll shout out to Marshall there. He's my guy. Every day he checks on me. So thank you, Marshall.
He's a good kid.
You want to shout out to your dog because you love him so much?
She's a jerk.
Still a jerk.
I'll
She's
be
still
her
a jerk.
lawyer. I'll protect her.
She's cute, but she's a jerk.
She's a jerk. Anybody else? You know what? I'll shout out real fast to my crew, the rookies. Thank you guys for everything. Go ahead.
I'll shout out the whole digital marketing class too. The whole digital marketing class is just so cool. Everybody is so nice in there. I mean,
I'll second that.
yeah, everybody is really respectful too. So
Nice.
it's good.
It's nice.
Any more? We're good?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to things to know before we go.
Things to know before you go.
So one thing I do have is next Thursday, which is, I believe is the 10th, is our first game night of the year. So those of you watching this, you're more than welcome to come. We meet in the cafeteria from 5:30 to 9. We stay in the cafeteria. We don't run around school showing everybody your classes, but we have fun. So come on out for game night. And I think that's right now all I can think of off the top of my head. You guys have anything, any like church sales or?
Oh, we got trunk or treat coming up
Trunk or
here pretty
treat.
soon
Yes.
here at the school.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the details off the top of my head, but it's coming up.
3 or 4 years I've worked this and I can't remember either, so it's all right.
Well, the end of the first 9 weeks is coming up too, so.
Yeah. Oh, when it gets closer, I'll remember and I'll
Yeah.
throw it out there. But anything in your neighborhoods going on? Nothing. Digital marketing.
Right?
Got anything
I know.
for
No,
me?
we got. We're headed to Cedar Point tomorrow with BPA. Some of our kids, and I've heard from at least a handful in my class that this is their first time at Cedar Point. Some of them first time on roller coasters. So
Ooh, that'll be fun.
That'll be fun.
Yeah,
It's
that'll
Halloween
be a good time.
weekend, so
Yeah.
that'll be a good time.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, you're supposed to have really nice weather too.
Fingers crossed. I told them
Yes.
though it's chillier on the lake. 74 up
Yeah,
in
bring a
Sandusky is a
sweatshirt.
little bit different
Yes,
than
it is.
74 here.
Yeah,
so.
and plus it's already chilling off.
Yeah.
Aren't we supposed to start heading towards the 60s, I think?
Yep.
So, well, that brings us to out of service. So thank you everyone for being on the show.
I'll be out of service.
Until next time.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.